Before we jump right into the software, it's important to start off with some background of the art of editing itself. Today, we can produce video content in pretty much seconds. Just look at TikTok for an example. It's a free app with a built-in video editor right on your phone. The same applies to any video editing platform today, like Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, Avid, which are forms of non-linear editing software. It takes digital files, you splice them, you cut them, you move them all around the timeline because it's non-linear. You can add effects, and if you make a mistake, we can just simply undo it. We don't have to worry about cutting the wrong piece of an actual film strip. So non-linear editing is non-destructive, but we still call it, in its right as an art form, filmmaking or filming. So you guessed it, linear editing is for physical film. Let's take a brief look back at the transition from linear to non-linear editing. The first cuts were made in the 1900s on editing tables. We've all heard of silent films. Well, not really heard, I guess they're silent. So what a film actually is just multiple photos being taken and running through at various speeds, which creates motion. So really, film is photography in its most simple form, which is why cinematography is so important to capture and bring feeling to a story through motion. Film was physically cut. If you've ever heard the saying on the cutting room floor, it's because film was spliced, taped together, and the pieces that didn't make it into the film were actually left on the cutting room floor. Computers for editing were introduced in the 1970s, which required disk drives the size of washing machines. It's crazy. So because of this, it was very hard for the average everyday person or indie filmmaker to actually have this luxury. It wasn't until the late 80s that software like Avid and Adobe Premiere was created to edit video. From the late 2000s to now, digital cameras and digital editing is what dominates the industry, and is ultimately why so many beginners can enter this profession or even just learn it as a hobby like we are right now. However, it's interesting how we are always trying to go for that cinematic film look, and that is how technology transformed the way we edit, and we will continue to edit.